commands the floor, battling for justice, bringing down the house with force. In the shadows of the city where the lights dim low, Captain Kern steps out ready to blow, with a heart made of steel and fists to match. Enemies shudder when they catch his dispatch. He's a knight in the night, rolling deep, just a sword he's sworn to keep. Captain Kern, he's on the fight, battling wrongs, upholding right. In the streets, he's a justice spree. Captain Kern, the hero we need. Never backs down, he's on the front line, facing the evils that intertwine. Corruption's fine, stripping the streets. He tears them down with lyrical beats. A vigilante with a badge of honor, burns the storm, chaos has got her. Boom, boom, hear the thunder roll. Captain Kern's on patrol, rights the wrongs, breaks the chains. In his world, justice reigns. Captain Kern, he's on the fight, battling wrongs, upholding right. In the streets, he's a justice spree. Captain Kern, the hero we need. From the depths of despair, he rises high, a beacon of hope under the night sky. Enemies fear when his name is called, a symbol of power on a pole. With every step, he claims the land, justice delivered by his commanding hand. So when you're lost and the night draws near, remember Captain Kern, let out a cheer. For justice, for truth, for the right. He's the guardian of the city's light. Hardcore rhythm fading out, justice served, no doubt.
Good morning, everybody. It is Hump Day, Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. Good morning, Cynthia. Good morning, anybody else in chat. Hey, guess what, everybody? We have some news this morning that I'd like to go through. That said, it is a morning stream. Isn't this freaking weird? Yeah, I've got things to do this afternoon, and I don't know when I'm going to be back. So we're doing a morning stream today, and hopefully we can do one a little bit later. But it is what it is. I've been doing a lot of gaming streams lately because I've been getting back into the world of gaming, and I absolutely love it. However, there is another side to me. The side, like the song says, truth and justice. We're trying to find the actual truth in things. So, what is going on? All right. Oh, hold on. Whoa. Sorry about that. I had to bring up the Facebook chat too, because I was like, hey, what's going on here? Nobody's there. All right. So, first thing we got to go through this morning is there seems to be some new dissent within the Republican Party. Let's bring this up so you guys can see this, because this is getting kind of wild. So top House Republicans are pushing for Vivek Ramaswamy to replace J.D. Vance in the Senate. Now, this is something I actually do support, because J.D. Vance, he accelerated into his role currently due to a bunch of tech billionaires financing him and crushing his competition. The only way that he was able to get to the place where he is at is through tech billionaires. There is another article on that, and it's through the New York Times, and I just don't want to read that because I don't like the New York Times. That said, Representative Jim Banks of Indiana is throwing his support behind former Republican candidate, presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy to replace J.D. Vance, the Republican from Ohio. And if he and the former President Trump win the 2024 election. Now, that's pretty much a given at this point. I'm not going to say that it's guaranteed, but it's a given, because you take a shot at a candidate who is already president of the United States, and guess what? You're making him a martyr whether he's unalived or not. The nut jobs literally did not do themselves any justice here. So, and I totally agree because Vivek Ramaswamy, he is a billionaire himself. However, he's a very smart one, and he is very vocal. And one, he is a U.S. immigrant. Now, the question is I don't know, was Vivek Ramaswamy born inside the United States? That is the question that I haven't researched yet. I need to find this out. We can actually try to bring that up here in just a moment here. Yes, and matter of fact, he was. He was born August 9th, 1985 in Cincinnati, Ohio. So he was born to Indian Hindu immigrants. So that is actually a worthwhile replacement there, because if he wasn't born inside the United States, he could not be vice president, because in order to take over the presidency, you have to be an American-born citizen. Ah, yes. And I have no idea who the hell's watching other than Cynthia. And, if you are, thank you for being here. It is going to be a wild day for me. Before we continue on to more news, I want to give you guys some personal news. The other day, the reason I haven't streamed a whole lot, and yesterday I got cut off, by the way. My internet went out for a little while. But the biggest reason is I've been processing the fact that I have a bad heart valve that needs to be operated on. My left eye surgery that was supposed to be scheduled for this Monday is no longer happening because they require cardio doctor sign off. And however, I can't see the cardio doctor until the 29th of this month, and it's supposed to be scheduled for the 22nd. So I don't know when I will be getting my left eye fixed, which is really causing me issues because I'm looking at the screen as we speak. I can see out of my right eye, out of my left eye, I can't see a damn thing. And you look at them both and it's really blurry. You know what I'm saying? It's just not right. So on top, good morning, Queen Swope. Good morning. So on top of the heart valve problem that I have to have an operation on, I mentioned this before. I have a right side blocked carotid artery that has been causing me lack of blood flow to the brain. My doctor now believes that this is what's causing my memory problems, some of my slurred speech issues, actually most of it. I fight to maintain focus, and hopefully very soon we will get both of these issues fixed. And I'll be back to the guy that I used to be, which I kind of miss because I was very witty back then. And I'm not so witty anymore. Mostly just blah. And that doesn't make for good streams either. And Queen, before you do ask, I am working on that image. I've had a lot of interruptions in my life recently. So I do apologize. It's taking a little bit longer than expected, but I am working on it for you. On to our next story. Let's see, close this, share this instead. Trump lauded by former rivals Haley and DeSantis in show of unity in the Republican convention. Now, if y'all watch the Republican convention so far, it has been an absolutely interesting time to take a look at things. I'm not going to read through this entire article because it doesn't make sense to. I have never in my entire life seen the Republican Party as unified as they are, other than with the choice of vice president currently. The message is absolutely interesting. I actually sent the what the platform is to my son a few days ago, my liberal son, by the way, and he went through it, and tore it apart. And I'm like, well, you can tear it apart all you want, but the fact of the matter is uh, this is a good platform because it represents the majority of the country, not the minority. And that's the way this country needs to actually run. Let me copy the link here, and we'll actually bring this up. And believe me, we're not going to be doing all politics this morning. We're going to be doing some actual news as well. I'm just going through the mainstream headlines. So bear with me if you wouldn't mind. So it refers to that. So the 2024 GOP platform, Make America Great Again, is dedicated to the forgotten men and women of the United States, America. And this goes through and describes every single thing that we are going through as a country currently, as a nation. You know, as Dom would say, one is one and one is the other. Well, we're looking at both here. But it goes through, and I will post this link in chat if you all like, so you all can take a look at it yourselves in your own time, because it is enormously long to read. But the basis of it is it wants to bring back some common sense to what America is all about. And it is not like anti-LGBTQ. It's not this, it's not that, it's not the other. It's a common sense platform trying to fix the bull crap that not just the Biden administration, but the Obama administration, the Bush's administration, and the Clintons did to this country, fixing 40 plus years of fucking nonsense. It is absolutely completely nonsense. Let me paste this over on the Facebook side as well, because the chat does not go through. So I actually have to do Facebook chat completely independent, which is odd. But, you know, some of the things, you know, rein in the wasteful spending, cut costly burdensome regulations, the same things. It's a lot of it is the same thing that Trump went through in his first term. You know, stop the illegal immigration, which we had a really good control over, you know, back when things happened, you know, before Trump, you know, lost the election. You know, restore peace through strength. You know, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand is we can't buy peace. All right. We as the American people, you know, let me stop sharing this for a moment. We as the American people have to actually understand that the only way that you can have peace, not only in the United States, but worldwide, is through a show of strength. You have to be tougher than the next guy, because the only way you can hold peace is by threat of violence. Good morning, Kay Marshall. Good morning. We'll probably lose you having storms and the electricity keeps going off. Here, let's pop that up on stream. I don't do that quite enough. Well, you know, I hope you stay safe there, Kay, and, you know. Is it automatically doing this now? Sorry about that. But, you know, there's a lot of things going on that are just absolutely mind-blowing to me. Honestly, they really are. And hopefully things will be fine here in the next probably 6 to 8 months. And speaking of discords, you guys are talking about discords in chat. There's a lot of people that have noticed that I've left a number of discords. And I posted this up on X, and if you like, please follow me on X. !socials gives all of my socials. Let's see if that command actually works. Hey, it does. Kind of. It's a little unorganized, but it does work. Yeah, this is what happens. Like blood flow, guys. It's very bad on my end because I just completely lost my train of thought. Oh yes, my Twitter post, my ex post on about removing myself. So there, a lot of these discords were like Broken Bakers and Nicholas's, Nick Staro's discords. They were for paid members. I'm broke. I don't have a membership. Okay. It's only fair as a creator to another creator that I remove myself. That way I am not grifting off of them for free. They make money off of offering that as a bonus for being a member, right? So there you go. On to new news. Go find some non-political stuff. Close that, close this, close the, no, I keep that open, close that. On to new news. You guys are going to love this story. This is absolutely mind-blowingly funny and not funny at the same time. Choctaw Girl's life begins to crumble and turn dark just weeks after her sudden rise to fame. You gotta spit on that thing! In today's digital age, a single moment can thrust an ordinary individual into the limelight. Haley Welsh, now famously known as Choctaw Girl, you know, you gotta wonder just how many times she spit on that thing and how proud her parents are. I mean, is she a pro at it now? Can she teach classes? But her journey began innocently enough. A video featuring Haley discussing an unusual piece of intimate advice rapidly gained traction online. Her phrase, "You gotta give him that Choctaw and spit on that thing," struck a chord with viewers, propelling her into viral fame. So, and it's gathered millions of views, making her a household name. Other than my wife had no idea who this lady was. The sudden surge in popularity brought Haley several perks, including a memorable onstage appearance with the popular musician Zach Bryan. However, the viral fame also comes with its fair share of complications. In an interview with Australian radio hosts Kyle and Jackie O, the 23-year-old from Belfast, Tennessee, revealed that her life has been impacted. "It is bizarre. I can't go out alone anymore." No shit. Absolutely no shit. I mean, are you kidding me? Do you not understand that if you are going to suggest you got to spit on that thing, you're not going to get attention, especially from the male side of things? Jesus Christ, girl. You got to be smarter than that. Gee, my knees. There's always the fear of something happening, like being kidnapped. It's made me very cautious. You know, I feel for her, but she brought it on herself. I'm not saying that anything bad should happen to her, but when you throw yourself into the limelight by saying something so outrageous as she did, it's going to create negative attention, right? I don't believe that she intended it that way. She intended it to be comedy. And I don't want her to be hurt or anything of that sort. And I'm not saying that she's gonna that it's a justified thing that she, you know, if she does. No, not that at all. What I am saying is this young lady, oh boy, but it was this young lady that she said something outrageous and she's getting negative energy off of it. And this is the way the world works. There are creeps out there. And specifically creeps that because that she goes, you know, you got to spit on that thing. Guys, guys, we have the freedom of speech in this country, but you have to learn when to not say stupid shit. Stupid shit that will get you all sorts of negative energy and negative actions against you. And a lot of people do this, for comedy reasons. And it needs to be made clear afterwards that that was comedy. However, she didn't make that clear for about a month. I remember watching an interview with her, and she said it was supposed to be a comedy. It was supposed to be a bit of comedy. I thought I was being funny. Well, a lot of people didn't take it that way. A lot of people are just that damn disgusting that they took it literally. And it just, man. Cynthia, did you kick yourself out of Shenny's server? Huh. You shouldn't do that. Oh, my Lord. Guys, I don't understand how stupid crap like this ends up. I just don't. And I'm having a real difficult time right now looking at the camera, so forgive me because my eyelids are like drooping down this morning and I don't understand what's going on. I mean, what else? I mean, is she that naive to not understand these things? That is one of the things I just don't understand. Is she that naive? Oh my God. I mean, and it says here, Haley's petite stature adds to her concerns about personal safety. I'm small and it's hard to feel secure when I'm out in public. Carry a weapon. It's that simple. She said sharing a specific incident where a stranger recognized her leaving, making her feel uneasy. I'm so famous, I'm paranoid of getting kidnapped. Action and reaction, positive. Exactly, Cynthia. It just, I'm sorry. If you guys, if you're going to do stuff like this and you're going to blow up viral, you have to know how to handle yourself in public. If you know that it's going, you said something that made you viral that is outrageous, then you have to be prepared for the reaction to that. Explaining in her viral moment to her family was another hurdle. Living with her grandparents, Haley had to repeat the story of Hawktaw several times before her grandmother understood the context. Can you imagine telling your grandmother, you got to understand, Grandma, I was talking about spitting on his rod. Lube that thing up. That had to be. Someone offered her $600 for a jar of her spit. Goddamn, girl, I be spitting into bell jars constantly. For Lord, I mean, if you're going to be, if you're going to make yourself famous like this, take advantage of it. They don't know it's your spit. Let your dog drool in them. About 2 weeks ago. Hang on, y'all. Anyway, where's the damn vape here? If y'all can't see, I'm not smoking. I'm using the vape. I'm trying to. Good morning, Cindy. How y'all doing? Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful hump day. Did you know, guys, my wife and I have been binge watching, well, not binge watching. We watch about an episode a night of the show, The Last Kingdom. And tell you what, they use that word humping a lot in that show. And freely in public. I mean, and of course, they just take the woman around the corner and just, do whatever. And living in 800 BC would have been an interesting time. or was it BC or AD? I don't remember. It's AD, I think. Medieval, whatever. I don't even know which vape juice I have in this thing. You're hanging on, getting ready to go up. I understand. I understand. Good morning, Misty. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, yeah, somebody offered Hawktail Girl $600 for a jar of her spit. Now, like I said, that girl needs to take advantage of that so fast and make about $1 million and just get her done. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Finally waking up to catch you. You know, I appreciate you. This is the first morning show I've done in a long time. Yes, market that shit. Exactly. You know, and everybody's been asking her apparently about starting an OnlyFans page. And though she hasn't taken that step, the interest has highlighted her. Now, that's going a little bit too far. Because what is she going to do on an OnlyFans page if she doesn't want to do other things? If she doesn't want to be spitting on things. Just saying. Just saying. And there's an ad right here. It says, nothing but ass. Nothing but ass tournament canceled. You know. I love these stupid ads. It just blows me away that they're allowed to show these things in public. So, you know, getting into another story, getting away from Hawktail Girl. Dear Lord. We now have a massive housing bubble about to burst in the U.S. in this U.S. region, warns real estate expert. See where? The American South is teetering on the edge of a housing market crisis. It already is. Let me tell you, you can buy houses in the Deep South for damn near nothing right now. Except for brand new homes, they're expensive as shit. So the American South is teetering on the edge of a housing market crisis, according to real estate analyst Nick Gurley. That is the damnedest last name I have ever heard. The post-2020 rush to build new homes in states like Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas has led to a glut in supply that could spell trouble ahead. How about y'all build them houses out here in rural Colorado where we freaking need them? And make them cheap houses too, because we don't need houses like that in that damn picture. Holy crap. Oh, dear Lord, Cynthia. Well, I appreciate you being here, Debbie. I honestly do, because, you know, it has been one heck of a ride for me as well. If you missed the first part of the show, I'll just do a quick recap. I found out recently I have a bad left ventricle heart valve I need to have surgery on. And of course, I have a partially plugged up, basically, right carotid artery. And things have been a little difficult in the health department for me recently, but I'm still here. I'm still kicking. The only thing I can't do is I can't get my blood pressure up, which kind of pisses me off, because there are a lot of things I'd really like to get mad at, but I just have to laugh at anymore. Anyway, let's see here. Home builders went into overdrive during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, they went into overdrive during the pandemic when lumber prices were through the damn roof because supply was absolutely zero, so that they could build at twice to three times the cost. It is, come on, let's tell the truth about what happened here. There's a YouTuber I watch called The Stradman. He's a car enthusiast, supercar enthusiast. He started building his home at the beginning of 2020. What was supposed to be a $1.5 million home turned out to be $3 million plus, and it's still not done. It's a livable home, but he doesn't have the landscaping or anything like that done. He has literally $500,000 in landscaping to do on his, I think it's a 1.5 acre lot. Not 1.5, $500,000. Did I say 1.5 million? $500,000, something like that. Anyway, some of this article is correct. Some of it's, completely nonsense. There is a glutton supply of brand new homes on the market, but there's also a glutton supply of older homes that need slight refurbishing and rehab. And because I can't get my home fixed, I don't have the money for this, and I haven't been able to raise the money. And I blame nobody for that. I blame myself for not fighting to get insurance on this place a long time ago. I've told that story a couple of times. It sucks, it is what it is. But, my wife and I are seriously considering selling and moving. The problem is if I sell right now, I take about a $30,000 loss on what I paid on the house. I can't do that. So little by little, board by board, we're going to have to spend the next year or two, fixing things. The windows are going to get boarded up for the winter. We're going to have to, put tarps or whatever on the house for, the winter. It's all we can do. It's all we can do, chat. It is sad, but that's where it is. It says, wait till after the election. The banks are going to unload their books of people who have been living in their houses with defaulted unpaid mortgages for years. Can you say homeless? It happens every election. Every single election, there's a housing bubble and a house pop or a housing bubble beginning. It's just the way things are. And it all depends on who they're going to put in as Treasury Secretary generally. So, but yeah, and who wants, I'm sorry, y'all look at this. These are cookie cutters. Who the hell, is there no originality anymore? I swear to God, we're turning this nation into a cookie cutter nation of houses that are damn near exactly the same. And we have been doing this for decades. Absolute decades. And I'll guarantee that, this neighborhood right here, it's an HOA. It's going to be an HOA, so that they can charge you extra money for doing jack shit. And in other news, we're moving on to the next story. Country singer apologizes for poor national anthem performance, says she was drunk. I'm just going to sit here for a moment, let y'all ponder this. Honestly, chat, come on now. Country singer apologized for poor national anthem performance because she says she was drunk. After a widely panned performance of the U.S. national anthem at the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby, country singer Ingrid Andress apologized Tuesday, says she was drunk. I'm checking myself into a facility today to get the help I need. How is okay? Every time that they are caught, every time that these individuals are caught and are absolutely non-apologetic, they say, I'm checking myself into a facility. Come on now. That is that is a PR stunt. That is all that is, because she's going to come out. She's going to be drinking. She's going to be doing the rugs. I mean, it's not just country singer. It is every single performance I have ever seen anybody do. They do this. Even Roseanne's, she was fairly unapologetic. She laughed the shit out of it, actually. I mean, and it's not just national anthems. It's any sort of bad performance. They're going to check themselves into a facility, and they're going to blame it on being drunk or stoned. Can you say just live a decent life and not do that shit? I mean, just saying. I mean, there is no need to go into the rest of this story. And like, who is Ingrid Andress? Nobody knows, because I don't give a crap. She's a new up and coming singer that probably has never had a hit song, because I've never heard through. Her breakthrough single in 2020 was "More Hearts Than Mine." Peaked at number 30. I mean, come on now. Cynthia says, my parents bought their cookie cutter in 1963 for $20,000, now worth $725. Well, yeah, that's the nutty part of all this. And so I actually talked to an elderly gentleman the other day when I was at the doctor's office, and we were talking about this housing thing going on, and he inherited his parents' home. Now, get this. His parents' home cost $15,900, according to what he told me. In that time span, since I think he said it was in the 1930s, 1940s they bought their home. No, it was late 1940s, he said. Big fucking house. He was talking about, more than 3,500 square feet. It was a, nice structure. It was one of those Sears put together yourself homes where everything's labeled and everything. I'm looking down at my damn keyboard. I need to keep my eyes on the camera. Anyway, so in this story, he's telling me $15,900. He is getting ready to sell this home in rural Colorado. Rural Colorado, I need to remind you of, because I was up in Sterling at the doctor's appointment talking to this elderly gentleman. And because, well, sad part is he's getting ready to pass away. He's on dialysis, and he's only got a short time to live. He knows this. He doesn't have any living relatives. He was, so he's going to sell the house and, and everything. And then he said he's going to donate every dime off of that to different, in his will, to different charities, which I thought was a really cool thing. But he's doing that so the government doesn't get their hands on it. But the house is worth $3 million. How do you go from $15,000 to $3 million? I mean, yeah, there's some land with it. There's about 300 acres of land, but it's out in rural Colorado. It's been rebuilt and refurbished. I think you told me like 5 times in that time period. They've actually stripped it all down to the frame and taken out all the Latin plaster. They've done all those things, and it's just been quite interesting. It was like some fraud. What do you mean fraud? What do you mean fraud, Misty? And I don't know how y'all feel about conspiracy theories, but I'm going to lay one on you. So a buddy of mine who's a military veteran, professional sniper, He uh, he and I were talking the last couple of days, and we are now positive that this assassination attempt on Trump was an inside job because there is no way that that little shit could have got inside a secure perimeter. Because when we talk about secure perimeter, he was explaining to me because he worked for the Secret Service during the Clinton administration, up through part of the Obama administration. So he explained to me that when going through certain things, there is a very, very large perimeter. Even in a small town, it could be up to a mile. That they survey all the rooftops and they post their own snipers at higher vantage points to prevent blind spots. Yet this kid was able to climb up on a roof with, by the way, the AR-15 pew pew that he used was open sights, which was his shots were actually fairly amazing for open sights. I fire off 5 rounds, take out one individual, wound another, wound our former President Trump. He had the intent to unalive. And he almost did. I'm kind of at a loss at the moment of what to think about things. I truly am. Because this was literally a JFK style takeout. And there's also now suspicion that there was a second gunman. Rumors that are actually being perpetrated by the government. I don't know if they've been able to collect all the slugs to match up the bullets, but it's interesting. It is very interesting. So if y'all have any comments that you'd like to actually make, I will be happy to send, we'll pop in a link into chat here. So if anybody wants, they can join me and we can talk about this for a little while because I got nothing to do for a while. Wicked, what's going on? The FBI is investigating itself. Oh, currently they found possible leads. I know. It's funny how they investigate themselves and find nothing after they find leads. So, I mean, I'm just, I don't know. It bothers me to no end, guys. It really does. It really bothers me to no end because where do we go from here as a nation when, I mean, Reagan was shot. There's been shots taken at Obama. There were shots taken at Clinton. You know, maybe not directly, but at distance. You know, a couple of years ago, we had all those those weeks there where people were shooting at the White House. I am an avid Second Amendment supporter. But even I can realize right now that we have too many fucking morons with firearms. And I don't know what we do about it without violating the Second Amendment. Because the one thing I will put, I put my foot down and say no. I have this argument with my oldest son. You know it is very sus. I have this argument with my son on basically a weekly basis anymore because he thinks all pew pews should go away. and he doesn't quite understand the the meaning of a well-armed people. With the right to keep and bear arms. A well-armed militia, which is the people by constitutional definition. I'm sitting here going, and welcome, Wicked, by the way, welcome. I'm sitting here going, I don't quite understand where we go from here and how we fix this situation. I'm literally up for any ideas because I can't figure it out for the life of me. I mean, did you all have any ideas here? Because it absolutely is beyond me that we sit here as a people. I mean, do we reenact the ultimate capital punishment? It's above your former pay grade. I don't know. I think the everyday people need to be in the decision of this. I think that the government itself needs to step aside and let us make the decision because there's too much of this shit going on. I mean, it was said in a great song. Find a tall oak tree and hang them high in the streets for all the people to see. Y'all know which song that is. Put it in chat. I know what it is, but it's a challenge. See if you guys know what it is. God, my beard looks like shit today. I mean, is public execution the way to go to prevent this type of crime? To know that you'll be humiliated that way? It's a setup. Of course, they want another distraction because there's not enough crap in the news right now. If the news cycle was bigger, this shit wouldn't have happened. But oddly enough, Alex Jones, who we all know went fucking nuts, made a correct prediction again. So did Tucker Carlson months ago. They both said the same thing, that they're going to try to humiliate him. Then they'll try to prosecute him. And if that doesn't work, they'll unalive him. They'll kill him. They tried and they failed. Now what do they do? And I say they because we don't know exactly who's behind this. We do know that it is from the deep state. We do know that it is from those that are running things in the background because they lost control of shit when Trump was in office the first time. Because he wouldn't allow them to have influence. And I find it very ironic that the kid that tried to unalive the president, unalive that brave firefighter who was protecting his family and injured that other individual, when he was in high school, was in a commercial sponsored by BlackRock. Have you all seen that? If not, we can bring it up. I'll be happy to bring that up. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do that. Just so you all know that I'm not full of shit.
My name is Brian DeLallo. I teach
Why do I have no audio?
AP and honor.
Can you guys hear it? My headset turned off.
My name is Brian DeLallo. I teach AP and honors economics in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Financial well-being to me is knowing that I can be free to do the things that I love to do.
I'll pause it where this kid's at.
I hope when I retire someday, they say, you know, that guy made this place a special place to come to school.
There he is, right there. There's your shooter. Notice the sponsor of the video, guys, who created the video, BlackRock.
And gave as much as he could to help the community.
BlackRock, one of the largest investment firms in the entire world. Between them and Vanguard, another investment firm, have the larger GDP than any nation on earth. These folks own bits of everything, and they control about 70% of the world's goods. Almost 90% here in the United States. And that has actually been verified through other YouTubers for the last couple of years, since it came to light who's owning things inside the US. I mean, why was this kid in a BlackRock commercial? Number one, they knew he was a loner. They knew that he had violent tendencies. And regardless of whether he voted Republican or not, he did make a small donation to the Democrats through a Democrat fund. But I think this is a case where he voted Republican because his father said he needed to vote Republican. Panama Papers referred a few elites. Yeah, that's for damn sure. That is for damn sure. And did you guys notice during the RNC that Puerto Rico called themselves a state? They literally said they were the 51st state. Now, is this on the agenda? Is this what's happening? Voted Republican to keep a rhino on the ballot. Yeah, pretty much. You know, I think this is an issue that he was raised properly, but he was raised a little too forcefully, and to be a certain thing instead of being able to make judgment for himself. He was also not a strong-willed individual, because weak-willed individuals are the ones that give in to violent tendencies. Now, you learn that as you get older. Sadly, today's youth don't ever learn through experience. You know, I got bullied as a child. Guess what? I also got into a lot of fights. I never shot nobody. Never would even think of doing that. Never even pulled a knife on anybody. Had a knife pulled on me. Oh, am I going to send the stream? I can, yes. Let me do that. Let me do that. Christ. Let's see. Where the heck do I remember doing this? Yikes. Guess. Where is the guest? I think I forgot where to get the guest. Oh, it's over here. Jesus. I swear, y'all, I'm just a damn moron. Well, we're just going to put it in public right here. There you go. If you want to join the stream, click on that link and I'll pop you in and we will chat about this because, and whatever other topic you want, because I got time on my hands right now. I'm not doing anything. And, you know, I want to have some fun before this afternoon because this afternoon won't be that fun. There we go. There's Cynthia. Shalom. Good morning, Cynthia. This afternoon. Whoa, I hear myself. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
What's going on?
I don't know if anybody can hear me.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm gonna really date myself here. I
mean, you can date yourself all you want, but you can't marry yourself. It's not legal.
Okay, I was alive in the first or second grade, and I okay, we got a bad connection here, so but I'm just gonna keep talking.
All right.
This is really hard. I know exactly where I was. What I was doing, everything, including sitting at home for a week because they closed schools and watching the funeral. And I remember growing up listening to all these, how they said it actually happened. Even I, as a kid, I felt like I was being treated stupid. And when my stepfather, the rock, I here deal with also. And our government just refuses. I mean, they're not going to stop treating us stupid. That seems to be their norm, their narrative forever. They don't want us to know what they're doing. It angers me a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely don't want us to know what's going on.
You know, we've got a really bad connection. I'm going to go back out, come back in.
All righty.
All right.
Wicked Wookie.
Hey, let me make sure I didn't boomer this. First
now
time
you
I've
can
joined the stream in.
You got your avatar going there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
avatar.
I got the VTube going. Let's see. I want to get this audio output into my ear. Figure out what's going on with that. That's it. It's got the right one selected. Maybe I need to change my overall device. That's what I need to change. Okay. This should be working correctly.
Cool.
All right. Yep, I can hear you. Figured I'd join in instead of just chatting away.
Yeah, just lay it on us. What's going on? What are your thoughts?
So I'm former military. I've got a little bit of knowledge about some of the crazy stuff that goes on, but not all of it. But I also watch a lot of the sniper stuff, and their thoughts about the event is a lot of shit broke down that shouldn't break down. I mean, 150 yards away, how do you not secure that building? And then they're saying that likely the shooter, the kid, because it doesn't make sense that this guy just, I get it, he just snapped, but how did he magically get the weapon and get up and know to be there? It's not like I know they plan the rallies in advance, but they don't give enough notice. for someone to really plan it out, you know?
Yeah. Hmm.
And then for them to later on find IED bombs, because that's why they also changed the route once they had him in the car.
Yep.
So there has to be either foreign agencies or three-letter agencies that are involved that shouldn't be involved.
Oh, I mean, this is a complete breakdown of, you know, just about everything that could go wrong did go wrong,
Yeah,
unless it was absolutely planned out.
mm-hmm.
I have a friend of mine who, like I said, is former military MP. He was in Desert Storm. He did, presidential detail for 2 different presidents. Said that none of this should have ever happened. And he actually has sent me, and I can't share this because he asked me as not to, but he's literally gone to Google Earth, diagrammed out the entire area where it should have been secured,
Right.
all the way
I've
out
seen
to
pictures
a
on Twitter.
mile radius.
And then also to watch the media spin, like I clicked on it on Twitter before any media started reporting on it. I saw this. I'm like, this can't be real. But it's like breaking news: Trump assassination almost took place. And then you just watch as the Twitter starts kicking in high gear. But then you see all the the memes were spectacular, though.
Oh, they were. But you get the liberal media. It wasn't even an assassination. It was, there was a
Oh, he just fell.
situation or an incident.
And then later on, you find that there's a memo from the White House to do exactly that, and you're just like,
Mhm.
"Oh, the same." Okay.
I just don't understand what is going on in our nation. This is absolutely insane. It should never happen this way. This was either planned or a complete breakdown. And I mean, just the fact that the Secret Service, the head of Secret Service, is the former security head of PepsiCo, which is, why in the world did you put her in as, she failed the Secret Service exam twice. Why is she the head of Secret Service if she failed that exam? And she's also a DEI nutty. This whole equality thing. I mean, well, you notice now during the RNC that there are no short women on his security detail. There's not even any short men. They're all over 6 feet tall.
Sure, it's using the right mic for me. Got it. Okay. Yeah, the DEI thing doesn't make sense either.
I mean, you can't have DEI stuff in a situation where you're literally supposed to take a bullet for an individual. That is their one and only job, is to step in front of a bullet.
You can go have them on other details. You can go have them on the car detail. You can have them go investigate this money fraud, because that's the original establishment of Secret Service. But yeah, some jobs you just want a strong male in there, and I don't. I said this on Shizzy's stream. We need to stop. Like, they've got it so twisted that why are we continuing to just label things based on color instead of content of character?
Yeah. Content of character and is the only thing that anybody should be judged by. That and their expertise in the specific field that they're going to go into. It's the same thing, going on with like Delta Airlines, and their whole equality push. Let's push a bunch of colored individuals as pilots. Let's just disregard the fact that none of them have the experience to fly a 747. Now, they're just out of flight school. I mean, we're trusting hundreds of lives to these people. Come on now. I don't care if it's colored or if it's white or if it's black or if it's brown, if it's yellow, pink. I don't really care. It's the expertise and their content of character, whether they're a good person that is hardworking and willing to get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I grew up in an area, I've said this before on stream, I don't care. I live in a Hispanic neighborhood. I am friends with just about every neighbor I have, including the guy that I'm having a disagreement with.
I'm in Common, California now, but
yeah.
I got some stories.
It doesn't make sense to me that we have to pander to the less than 1%. You know,
I need to change.
And I'm talking about I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about the mindset, because that specific mindset is less than 1% of the population in the United States. It's already been, polled out, verified, and they're trying to change this country into something that is completely unrecognizable, so that the lowest individual, and I'm not saying lowest how do you put it, as a mental thought, or judging them, I should say. I'm talking about the ones that have the weirdest thoughts. We're pandering towards those. And it shouldn't happen that way. And, they keep calling us for years and years and years and years. I'm 47 years old. I have heard the word democracy ever since I was a child, and it irritates the living snot out of me because this
You've got about a decade on me right now.
Yeah. This country is not a democracy. It's a republic. And oddly enough, Joe Biden, during his speech the other night, actually called it a damn republic. That's the first time I have ever heard the man say republic. I still don't like him, but at least he said it right.
Try not to get lost in the semantics of words.
Well, there is a huge definition difference between.
We're a democratic republic because we don't all vote at once on a specific topic. We elect people individually to then go vote for laws because we have busy lives and we don't want to be.
We're a constitutional republic. Nowhere in our founding documents was democracy ever mentioned. If you actually read through everything that there is, the whole word democracy didn't pop in until what was it? The late 1800s or something of that sort. And I don't remember who it was at the moment because my mind is screwed up. We cannot be a democracy because democracy is majority rule. So, if you're pandering towards the minority right now and they become the majority, well, then all the other people just go away. It's supposed to be a representative republic. So every district is represented by similar people that vote for them. But we're not even a democracy at this point because the people we elect don't actually represent any of our interests. They represent their own. All they're out there to do is make money. They're, just like they were talking about Nancy Pelosi the other day. She's worth some $170 million. And they did the calculations on that. In order to be that wealthy, and she did not start wealthy, by the way, it would take 1,500 years of her salary in Congress to do that. So where did she get the money? Well, she's bought off by special interest, just like every other politician. I have a politician that I live with in this town, Cory Gardner. And, he was accused of taking bribes from the oil industry. Now, I don't know what the status of that case ever happened, but he was accused of that. And he also became fairly wealthy while he was in Congress. So where'd the money come from?
I mean, they have a tracker for Nancy. For how
literally
much if you want to make money, and it becomes self-fulfilling because all the rich people follow what they do.
Yeah.
So it
You know,
kind of
follow
makes
her inside trading. You'll make
follow
it
the
rich.
inside trading and see how much money you can make.
You
Like
know,
the guy that figured out. Okay, I've never seen this side of Streamlabs, so I'm playing around with it.
oh yeah, go for it. I mean, this is the Talk Studio, not the actual
Okay, that's
application.
the Talk Studio that you get when you buy the extra thing.
The Ultra. Here's the funny part is I actually wasn't going to be using Streamlabs, but I accidentally paid for the Ultra
Mm-hmm.
because it said here free trial, and I'm like, cool, and I went into one of the applications and it said, check this, out, and it was clickbait because it instantly charged my damn credit card.
I was just watching Aussie Overlord
Mm-hmm.
set up his OBS, and because I know how Streamlabs is basically a reskinned version of OBS because you can't run OBS at the same time you run Streamlabs.
Actually, they have a plugin now to where you can put Streamlabs inside of normal OBS.
Interesting. Do you have to launch OBS first?
Nope.
Because when you go to launch,
Oh yeah, you launch OBS and then the plugin activates inside of OBS.
Okay.
So you don't
I have to play
use
around with it. I
it's
know
fun.
that like OBS allows you more manual control, but I mean you get a lot of stuff with the Streamlabs that works pretty well.
Yeah, I mean I'm not too unhappy. I mean it was $150 for an entire year.
Right. I'm paying monthly, and even then that because I was like I want to see how if it's even worth it first, if it's what I want to stick with, because I know a lot of the trial tubes they use StreamYard.
Mm-hmm.
But then I see where, because StreamYard is all server based, they're having issues with that. It's all browser based, and when I mean server, it runs off its own servers instead of running locally.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, here I can actually show you.
But I mean, you can run Streamlabs in a browser as well.
Yeah, like this is the Talk Studio for Streamlabs. It's in a browser. I'm not actually using any application other than Chrome to open it. And for talk show stuff, this works really, really good. When I go to my gaming side of things, I actually start using the application, or I use OBS with the plugin in it.
And so I basically made things more complicated for myself. I was trying to just use the camera, but I'm always worried about, I don't want to show my room. It's dirty. I don't really like my mug shot that well. and I'm in a smaller space. So I plan to have an avatar anyways for the Wicked Wookie side. I've got a commission that I'm waiting for Fiverr to finish up. It'll look pretty good, but I think like this model here, I got off of Etsy for like $30. Wasn't bad. And it came with a bunch of outfits and works. But I'm learning all the key combinations and getting it to work for me. And I'm still so I have to bounce between Streamlabs, Virtual Studio, and also whatever game program I might be playing. And making sure that it doesn't overload. Like the crazy part is right now with Virtual Studio, I have Streamlabs, so that's what's probably taxing. Let me close that out. Say my CPU usage is up to 96 and I have a Ryzen 9.
Oh yeah, it shouldn't be that bad at all.
Yeah, it's probably high right now because it's trying to use the browser, and the browser is probably not using the hardware encoding.
Yeah, when I want to do some really fancy stuff, if I'm using like the Talk Studio, I'll open up OBS and use the virtual camera.
By me having two versions of Streamlabs open, basically, I was doubling my CPU usage because it just dropped to 50%.
Yeah. And I also use the NVIDIA broadcast software in the background. That way I can do the virtual backgrounds. And
I've been really tempted because I hear really good things about the AV1 encoder.
Oh, it's awesome.
So like NVIDIA has its own encoder, but AV1 is part of the Intel.
Yes, it is.
And those are pretty cheap. You can get a high-end card for not like $400 or $500, right? You can get their A770 for like $400 or $500.
I have a 3090 that I picked up for $300 though.
Gotcha. Oh, 30. That's nice.
and it's an
Granted, now
MSI.
they're about to drop the
There's-
5090s this
Yeah,
year.
I
It
mean,
feels like it really does feel like we just got through the 3090 cycle because they've been so far behind in getting a normal amount of cards out anymore.
yeah. Well, the funny part about NVIDIA is, when they put out cards, they don't tell people, Linus Tech Tips does a really good job of doing the comparison of the cards.
I like
It's like-
him. Do you watch the other guy? The
Jace
guy that
Two
called him out.
Cents?
Well, Jace 2 Cents is good.
Or oh God, what's his name?
Tech
you're talking about
Jesus.
the long-haired guy. Tech
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah.
I get
I
mind
watch
blanks
all
and
of
then I just can't think of the name of the channel that I'm trying to think of sometimes.
Yeah. Well, you heard what I said. I've got a lot of blood flow to my brain. So
Right.
it's been, I have absolutely,
Oh, okay. And now I can see where I can see the stream chat so we can actually talk to people
Yeah.
instead of ignoring them.
yeah. So getting to the chat, Cynthia says that, put that on stream there. Her extremely petite daughter-in-law got to 747 school and realized she was in over her head and too small to be a pilot. That happens. I have a friend who is 5'4", did the exact same thing, and he's a dude. Went to a pilot school to fly Airbuses, and decided that he was just too small. And Debbie says she was watching a Canadian sniper who was on someone's stream who's saying that the same thing. He says that things are just not adding up. No, nothing of the whole situation with the Trump shooting adds up. Not
Yeah.
a single thing.
The channel that I was watching, it's called Speak the Truth.
Yeah.
And they're two former snipers as well. And watching that, and I'm in their Discord as well. But you start collecting Discord channels, and it gets ridiculous to follow everything.
Yeah. Well, and I tried to be fair to people, especially, other content creators. That's the reason I left like 6 different content creators channels, because I wasn't a paid member.
Mhm.
You run out of money, you can't pay for a membership. So
Right.
there you go.
You can't expect us to subscribe to everyone all the time. And I just try to be fair about it and not abuse it.
Yeah. And that, with the Discord, that's a paid perk for a membership. So it's like, okay, be fair. Go ahead and leave the Discord. And I've had a couple of them come back going, no, come on back. I'm like, no, not until I'm paid, because that's how you make your money.
I noticed you stream PUBG a lot. Do you do any other stuff? And do you stream to Twitch as well?
We're streaming live to Twitch right now, actually.
Okay.
That's Twitch is
Am I
where I
able to
started streaming a long time ago. So
okay. So does this stream
post your links in the
chat?
private chat, and we'll put them up. We'll post your links in the private chat, and we'll put them up on stream.
Gotcha.
So people can sub to you and all that good stuff. What games do you stream?
So I do mostly old school RPGs right now. And I'm starting to get a good community going on Twitch, where I've got a couple of people that like to follow my Legend of Dragoon stuff.
That's
and I'm following other people back from that and kind of building a community from that. I didn't think I was going to be playing those. I kind of imagined the more newer games were going to be interesting, but those are like the easy, relaxing games that you can play for 4 or 5 hours and not even feel tired from, especially if it's something you haven't played in a while. And anymore, like the newer AAA stuff, the DEI's gotten into it and it's just ruined it. You've got that. So poor storytelling combined with all the microtransactions. Why do I want to play this? I've got 1,000 RPGs I can go play that can take 100 hours plus if I play slow. I notice my play style is different when I'm streaming.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, because you're looking for more action,
content,
and content,
and you're trying not to get bogged down into the details. So, like, the nice thing on playing the older stuff and playing on emulators, I can enable cheats to be able to skip grinds.
Yeah. So,
and even on PC, I can do that too.
I started off. I'll just go through a quick, I guess discography. I started off playing Quake a very, very long time ago, back in the early 90s. I started a gaming network called Mega TF Networks, and we then created, a couple years after that, we created a company called Intergamer Networks, where we built servers to play Quake, Half-Life, Counter-Strike, Day of Defeat, all those good games, before CSGO even was ever thought of. And I hosted radio shows throughout that entire thing. There's archives of those all over the internet. I was also part of NHB Radio. So I did radio for a long time online through various outlets. But when I started professional gaming, oddly enough, I actually competed against Doc years and years ago before he was ever a streamer, and I beat his ass constantly.
Oh, you're talking about Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Like, he's just more of a
Not that great
personality.
player, I'm sorry.
No, most streamers aren't. Like, I don't expect myself to be this massive, great gamer. Like, I'm terrible. I've Threads of Fate.
Not about how
Any
good
platform
you are.
game,
It's,
I suck at.
it's,
Timing and
it's
stuff,
how,
I suck.
yeah,
But
it's about
the
how
personality
you
and trying
can
to be,
create content.
yeah, the feedback and talking with community. That's why it's
Yeah.
so hard to sit there and just, yeah, that's why I come at it with the idea that I'm just going to enjoy myself and enjoy playing.
Mhm.
And if others want to watch and start interacting,
There
it's
they
going to
go.
create that community and feedback, which then becomes a good cycle, you know?
Yeah. So when I started streaming on Twitch, I played just about everything, every AAA title that was out there. And that was back in, oh God, what was that, 2016? But I really didn't start getting a following until 2018. And I was playing PUBG.
Okay.
And
So have you found that that's the game that works best for you?
well, it's not the game that works best for me, but I kind of got stuck with the game. I switched from PUBG to New World, you know, the MMORPG.
On Twitter and Twitch. That's it. Those are the socials.
Okay.
I have Instagram too, but that's for my dog stuff. It's a completely different personality.
Here, let's come on. Oh, that's interesting. It does not want me to.
I'm sure
copy
people
this.
that have been in any of the Discords I've been in have seen all the puppy pics. I run a doggy daycare and have a service pup that I take care of.
That's really awesome. Let's go ahead and get these posted real quick here. Y'all make sure to go ahead and follow.
I know that
like,
Sono one's a little different, but it's my I make a lot of songs through the Sono app, and I've kind of made a profile with that too.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. I do the same thing. Have you gotten anything published yet as a published artist?
I don't know. I have to, and I probably need to read through the licensing a lot more. But I
you a
haven't
paid
had
member?
any issues with posting it to YouTube yet. I'm not even monetized in YouTube yet. I just
No,
started
on
months ago.
Suno, are you a Suno Pro member? Do you pay for the
Not yet.
service?
I know you just. It's not too expensive though right now either, and I probably need to go ahead and get it locked in before they raise the rates. It's getting more and more popular.
So everybody, go ahead and do me a big old favor and follow the Wicked Wookie here on each of the platforms that I have posted. If you wouldn't mind, give them some love. The Suno thing, I actually signed up through SoundOn, which is a subsidiary of TikTok, for all of my instrumentals that I put out. And
Gotcha.
I've got one full album put out right now. I'm working. That one was the
You use Suno to create it, and then you redirect the Suno created stuff to that other platform as the distribution platform.
as the distribution platform, and then it gets just distributed to TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. As a pro member, you have that ability. Everything you create is copyrighted by you automatically.
Okay. And that I need to go back through my YouTube stuff and change the licensings back to
And
common.
I'm only, yeah, I'm only doing instrumentals for that right now, because instrumentals get you paid fairly decent money if they become
And they're better
popular.
for looping on stream and stuff. And on YouTube, like lullabies and like, have you
Mhm.
seen the YouTube sleep music sections? They have
Oh, yeah.
10 million plays, 10 billion
Yeah.
plays because I do it. If I can't sleep,
You throw it
I
on
just
in the middle,
throw it on and let it play.
Yeah.
Spiffing Brit recently said one of the biggest secrets is just sleeping people. I've noticed
Yep.
some of my people that watch the stream honestly might just be asleep.
Yeah, I there's one that actually my wife and I subscribe we subscribe to, and I just put it on the TV on YouTube, and it has a 10-hour track of the exact same thing just looping.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's a mix of forest and instrumentals, kind of like oriental mix. It's pretty nice.
It actually works for, and I learned this from I went through a Victoria Stilwell Academy to be a dog trainer. There's a thing called Dog TV that you can subscribe to, and they've kind of done the science behind which colors work and soothing tones, and it actually plays at a slower beat per minute. That I put it on, and it has helped dogs relax some when you have to leave. I deal with a high anxiety dog. And my recent foster right now, we had to get a better kennel so it doesn't. he kept it. My mom would be watching him, and he'd break out when she'd leave the room.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because we have 4 dogs. We have a purebred German Shepherd. That's the only dog in my life that I've ever paid for. It's my son's, my 18-year-old's dog. We have my dog, who is a pit bull, pit bull lab mix, and she's the boss of everybody. You have my wife's dog and my other son's dog, who are brother and sister. They are part Bernese Mountain Dog, part Australian Shepherd, part something else and something else.
That's going to be a big old boy then.
One, the male is, he's about 120 pounds, and he's fat as hell. And
Debbie, is it picking up the construction workers on my mic?
No.
Okay. Good.
I don't hear anything.
Cool. They're building a house literally on the other side of the wall I'm on right now.
Oh. But my wife's dog is the coward of Yuma County. A mouse farts and she'll start barking. She is so nervous. And we don't know what happened because she was never this way, this bad until 2020. And people started lighting off fireworks in our neighborhood around July 4th during the lockdown, that for literally like 2 months in a row. I don't even know how the hell they got fireworks because nobody left their homes. And then she started flipping out. She will hide under anything. And she sees me as her savior. So if my door is open in my office here, she'll come hide. It's my wife's dog. She'll come hide under my desk and lay on my feet.
So if I set Streamlabs as a virtual cam, I can then share a scene to that virtual cam.
Yes, you can. Yep.
Got it. Cool. If I wanted to add a second camera kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm working on, so I use a Camo sometimes to set my phone as an additional webcam, but I kind of like having my phone. So I've kind of, it's not really beneficial for me.
I use the Elgu Cam app for remote cameras, especially like when I'm 3D printing. I've got a bunch of old cell phones, so they're wireless.
Having an extra device like that's easy enough to throw around. Yeah. I want to just go source out some of the old off of eBay or something of the old GoPros, just to have a quick easy wireless cam.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be anything special. I just need to be able to focus it on the dogs and kind of pick. They sleep in 4 different spots, so that way I can just switch it in the software real quick.
Yeah, there's so many amazing things we can do with OBS, but that's getting back to the games that I play, mostly FPS games and RPGs. I used to do a lot of Battlefield. I used to do a lot of Warzone and stuff like that. I've gotten
better with FPS than I used to be, but I still just always tend back to I enjoy the RPGs better.
And I love RPGs. Civ is one of my favorite series of games. It's just, Civ is just an awesome game, I guess to say. And I'm looking forward to actually being able one day be able to purchase the new version. New World was an interesting, MMORPG because
I have not played
really
any
strong.
of the MMOs. The last time I played an MMO was when WoW was really popular. I was playing like Lord of the Rings and the City of Heroes kind of thing.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings online I like. The regular Lord of the Rings game I did really enjoy. All of the Star Trek RPGs. I mean, that's kind of where the name Kern came from, with Star Trek. If you're a sci-fi fan. I like a lot of the art.
Yeah, especially like the engineering books.
Oh God, those are fun.
Yeah, except for when the authors kill off your favorite character, and then you're like, you were just a guest author and you killed off my.
Yeah. But I haven't really played like any single player RPGs in a very, very long time. It's all been multiplayer stuff. Oddly enough, the one multiplayer RPG that I can't really stand is Final Fantasy.
If I were to recommend one, that's modern day Sea of Stars.
Sea of Stars.
Mm-hmm. It's came out in 2023, but it has that old school feel and vibe to it, where you have hidden things and you've got a pixelated map, but you have modern day particle physics.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So they do a perfect blend to me of
Sea of Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It was offered as a free game on Xbox. Then I went ahead and bought it afterwards because I played through it, then played through it like you can play through it once, then you unlock the new game plus, play through it again, and then you can just keep playing through it each time.
Oh, so this is a turn-based RPG.
Mm-hmm. But it has active combat system, so you can time your hits.
Nifty. Let's see. Can I bring this up? Let's see.
So that's what kind of keeps you engaged a little bit with that too.
Take a look at that real quick here.
And it has a little bit of anime in it as well.
So that's like completely OG style.
Yeah. But look at it closely and you see that it's not just how an OG is. It's got depth to it, and it's like they just used the artwork style, but then kept modern day quality to it. That slug reminds me of Chrono Trigger, the Lavos.
Huh.
If Baldur's Gate 3 hadn't dropped, this would have been Game of the Year.
Yeah, well, the only reason people bought Baldur's Gate 3 was for the porn.
I didn't care about that. Like, I enjoy Baldur's Gate 3. I've played several campaigns of it, but I got bit by the Xbox bug on it, where so Xbox, if people haven't messed with it, it's like you don't have access to your local saves. Everything is a cloud-based save. So if you have an error where the cloud save causes your game to crash, and so the only solution is to delete all of your game saves instead of just the single save that's causing the crash. Which, why does Xbox not allow you to do memory edit?
That is a very good question. Let me make sure I drop you a follow. Oh, we need to get you affiliated, my dude.
Oh, we're working on it.
I've gotten so many people on Twitch affiliated. Let me follow you over on Twitter as well. Guys, make sure if you use Twitch, go follow.
On Twitter. I just shit post all the time. But yeah, I'm trying to usually stream. Kind of my schedule works out to where I can stream from either 8 or 10 o'clock at night till 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And if I'm good, I go to bed, but tonight I didn't. It happens sometimes. We've got people on the West Coast and people on the East Coast, so we all have different life cycles.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing I enjoy living in Colorado is I'm in the middle of the U.S., so it always upsets everybody, especially on the Pacific side, that I either stream too early or too late. So I try to make my morning streams I normally don't do, but I've got crap I have to do this afternoon, so I'm like, you know what, I'll do an early stream, and I think I might actually keep doing this because it's quite fun.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to get to.
There's not a big trial thing to watch right now. There might be something going on, but I'm kind of like trialed out for after the Karen Reed case. I'm done.
Karen, and then the big NUPA that happened with the Alec Baldwin
case. That big. Wah, wah, wah.
Okay, we're going to dismiss it. Okay, you're dismissing a case where he offed a person. Let's go. Let's talk about justice because, the prosecution could not get their shit together and did things illegally. That just irritated me. Something awful. So, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but my daughter was taken from me in 2022. She lost her life. Her boyfriend had murdered her, and I'm an advocate for justice. Huge advocate now. Anybody that loses their life, whether it's on purpose or even a mistake, you still have to be, you have to pay a price for that. Because stupidity needs to cost something.
We got a fellow West Coaster out here.
Yeah, Cynthia.
Fire.
Yeah, she's out on the West Coast. Of course, she wakes up at like 1 a.m. now to watch Shizzy.
Well, Shizzy, let's see, my time comes on at like 3. So like if I finish a stream at 2, I'm like, I'll dig around or go watch somebody else. Or a lot of times my workflow is like I go take care of my daily stuff, take care of the dogs, go do a couple Instacart orders, and come home and stream, and then go do some internet stuff.
How well does that Instacart thing pay?
In California, it pays nice.
Really?
Other places, not so much.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it without the added bonus that they give us every week.
My 27-year-old son tried to do that over in the small town of Sterling, just north of us. It's got about 15,000 people, and literally went broke on paying gas.
Yeah, that's why, because basically they give us a gas stipend.
Yeah,
and they also, all the tips don't count toward the minimum wage that they have to pay us. So my tips I get to keep, and then they have to pay us a minimum wage of like $15 an hour.
It's not bad.
Plus the mileage. So that's where it evens out. It's like I can make $400 in a week, and then they pay me an additional $200. Okay. And meanwhile, I'm also bringing in $400 or $500 from the dog stuff I do.
Yeah. So I was actually considering doing Uber Freight.
Passive for me. I don't even want to imagine what Uber Freight would be like. If it's anything as terrible as their Uber Eats and stuff. I've done that for years, and it's.
Oh, I wouldn't do that at all. But Uber Freight is, remember those old reality shows that, had the guys, trucking all over across the U.S. and pickups and trailers. That's basically what it is. And I had actually thought about that for a couple of years.
Did they just buy? There was another company before that. They had the contract to do all the. Say you lose your luggage.
Oh yeah.
the same company, they also offered like where you could ship anything. And I'm just wondering if Uber just bought them and then incorporated them, because that's what they did with like Uber bought up
Probably.
Postmates. They bought up all their
Yep.
competition. So there's only like two big companies, DoorDash and Uber now, for
Yep.
the food deliveries. And then it's like everyone just keeps like, I'm seeing with all the tech companies that do the delivery stuff, they just keep adding on and basically just doing the same things. Like DoorDash can now do Instacart style deliveries because they're just trying to find a way to actually be profitable.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, they had their moment during COVID and during the coof, and it's gone.
Yeah. Unless you can force everybody to use it, nobody's going to want to pay the additional 30-40% charge for them to be profitable.
Well, there was a reason why, they had people, representatives going to Congress, advocating to keep gas prices high. Because if you keep gas prices high, you keep people at home.
It doesn't stop people out in here in California.
Oh God, no. One of my favorite YouTubers is Daily Driven Exotics. Do you watch them?
I think so. They kind of had a
Canadians that come down with supercars into California. They've got a shop down there now.
Okay. I'm thinking of somebody else, like their main show. The guy ended up passing away.
No. I know who you're talking about though, but him and his partner, they come down and they fill up at the pump, and I cry every time because, they fill up with 91 or 94 octane is as high as you guys get there in California.
We only get 91, which is dumb.
91? Yeah.
Elsewhere, it's like it goes 87, 90, 94, or 93 or something like that. Here, it's like the in between is 89.
Yeah. We get 89, 91, and 95 in Colorado where I live. And then you have ethanol mix as a fourth pump, which is don't run your vehicle on ethanol. You'll burn it up. But
everything's 20% out here.
Yeah, everything's 20% for the most part. But I mean, they're talking like 50.
Corn lobbyists. You got to do something with all the excess corn. How about let's not grow excess corn?
We have an ethanol plant here, so it's literally a mile down the road from me. So, every gas station has a 50-50 mix now. But, and all these flex fuel vehicles that they came out with all their engines are burning up because they burn too hot because of ethanol. I mean, you're literally driving on moonshine, for God's sakes. It's rocket fuel. But
hopefully they stop making also the direct injection.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the dumbest thing that they did. Because now you're having cars just build up this carbon that would normally get washed away from the regular injection. The direct injection is bypassing it, and now they're having to offer, we'll do a walnut wash on your car.
Yeah, it's like, okay, port injection's great, direct injection bad, and they just don't seem to understand that. But these guys in California, they fill up these supercars, and it's like $150 to $180. I'm like, oh my God.
So speaking of car channels, the new channel Big Time split off, right? They're blowing up, and I'm jealous of the success. But of course, I mean, no way I can rival that. I'm just a little lonely VTuber in his own little bedroom here. But they bought a semi truck, and it would have been $1,000 to fill up one tank, and there was 200-gallon tanks.
I live, this is Farmville where I live. So they're hauling grain, they're hauling cattle, corn all the time. And all my neighbors fucking drive semis. See, at least somebody in their family does. And one of the fuel stations that we have is called Eagle, and it's actually owned by a co-op. There is a 50,000-gallon above ground diesel tank just for the semis that come through town. And they have to fill that thing up every week. by train. It is bonkers how much, they use in diesel, and the cost of diesel is like, why would you buy a diesel vehicle right now? There's a couple of them that I would buy because they get like 60 miles to the gallon, but they're like 3 cylinders, itty bitty little cars. Cynthia in chat says, I shake my head at those who overfill their tanks and they just spend thousands of dollars down the road for messing up their filter systems. Is the nozzle turn off and go beyond that? There's truth to that, and there's some falsities. It depends on the date of manufacture of the tank and the vehicle itself. To give you an example, my Ford F-250 had three. When I had that, it had 3 tanks on it: 2 saddle tanks and the main tank. The main tank was 18 gallons. Each of the saddle tanks was 15. And even when gas was cheap, it cost a fortune to fill that vehicle up. But the saddle tanks, when you put the pump on it, it would, and you heard the click, it would actually only go to 11 gallons. So you had to monitor it to actually fill them up all the way to the 15-gallon mark.
Yeah,
which is actually a 17-gallon tank with slosh, allowance.
Have you dealt with the California compliant nozzles yet? They drive me.
No, I don't live in California, so.
So we have the evap control basically on every single pump nozzle. So you have to make sure you jam the thing in there and it's pushed in. Otherwise, it'll shut off the auto pump.
That is absolutely crazy. I mean, some of the California regulations just are beyond
sense. Yeah. But hey, I can get high for free. That's fine. Or not free, but without worrying about it.
I can do that in Colorado too, but not right now because I don't have enough blood flow to my brain and it makes me go stupid.
Yeah. It's just, like, I don't mind getting high. It's just the after, like, it just throws my balance off afterwards too much.
Oh, so the last time I even tried, because I live with chronic pain, and the last, my doctor actually said, go get a marijuana cigarette and try it and see if it helps. So I'm like, all right. So we have a weed shop here. My wife went and bought a little pack of 5. So that's all they sold. They didn't sell loose weed at that time. So they got some pre-mades, and she brings it home, and I light this thing up because, I used to smoke when I was a teen. It was all good to go. Nothing. I could smoke 2 or 3 joints, and, I was like Snoop Dogg back in the day, never get high. No, I took 2 puffs off this thing, and it put me in an anaphylactic shock. My wife had to force feed me Benadryl because the shit they sell now is so much more powerful.
In Georgia, because it wasn't quite legal, they have that Delta 8 stuff, and if you take a hit of that, I felt like I was allergic to it. It would cause me to cough so hard I'd be throwing up all the time. So I stopped dealing with it. But yeah, I deal with the pain stuff too. Got some blown out discs in my back and neck. Because thank you, Atlanta traffic. Nobody can drive.
I have nerve damage in my lower back, my upper back. I found out recently there's in the last couple of months ago that my spine is now curving to the right. They don't know why. It's probably because I'm fat. Then I have sciatica on both sides, and I have 2 damaged knees from car accidents.
Yeah. The chiropractor
I'm screwed up.
Thing that helped me the most. I know they give you those injections, but for me, it had the opposite effect. Instead of causing relief, it caused more pressure.
Yep, I'm the same way. I've had the injections. I've had the RFA done. Where they burn the nerves out using microwaves, and that never worked. It never worked. My body healed so fast that it was like a day, and it's supposed to last a year for the RFAs.
Yeah. The chiropractic care work where they try to, I agree. Screw the sciatic stuff. And apparently my family has a thing where our sciatic grows in the wrong way. So it's easy to pinch, but, the chiropractic care has helped me the most because they can realign your spine to where you don't have that nerve damage going on as much.
And I would absolutely love to go to a chiropractor. I've been to both of them that are here in town. The problem with them is they were both very short, very small women.
Yeah.
They don't have
small
the
Jewish
size
guy
or the
struggle, but it's still.
I'm 6'2", 290 pounds right now. They can't maneuver.
They're putting all their weight on you to try and push your back to get the correction.
Yeah.
And it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. One of them is a good friend of mine. And the last time I saw her was years ago because she's just too tiny. And I'm like, I wasn't 290, I was 250 then. And I'm like, do me a favor. I stood up. I said, hang on to my arm. And I was doing, arm lifts with her. She probably weighs 90 pounds. How do you be a chiropractor and weigh 90 pounds? I mean, she even had the mechanical drop table because, that helps because she doesn't have the physical strength or size to actually do some of the maneuvers. And I'm just like, come on. This is ridiculous. I need a real chiropractor. And then I started searching around in a 100-mile radius of me. There are 2 guys, just 2. Out of 30 some chiropractors I found, just 2 guys. And they are not taking any more patients because they are completely booked. One thing I did find that actually does help quite a bit is acupuncture. Not dry needling, acupuncture. But I can't find an acupuncturist that does a damn thing anymore. There's none around. It's like every one of them in Northeast Colorado just disappeared. I'd have to go all the way to the Front Range to do anything.
I mean, Colorado, before they legalized weed, you only had like 1 million people total in the state. Didn't it like triple in the past couple of years? So
5.5 million right now.
Yeah.
And we had it was almost 2 million when in 2013 when they legalized.
Right. But the majority of that is all probably in Denver too, isn't it?
The Front Range, the Front Range, Colorado Springs. And the worst part is some of the most beautiful places in Colorado are now completely run down criminal areas like Pueblo, Colorado. That used to be a beautiful city. And now it is completely run down and overrun with criminals.
My ex kept trying to get me to move out there.
And I mean, my wife and I want to move, but we don't know where to go. We have looked at every state in the country and we don't know where to go. I mean,
Idaho and North Dakota is kind of the only places left.
Literally the ones that aren't completely insane. Yeah, you're about right. I mean, Wyoming is a good place to go as well. But it's not as expensive as a lot of other places, but it's too far away from anything.
Like,
if you want to find something that's reasonable in housing, you have to live 20 miles out of town and build.
The pricing of housing here is insane. Like, I'm blessed right now to be basically inheriting my grandparents' place, but NorCal is actually a beautiful place. If we could ever split away from the idiots that are below us and become the state of Jefferson.
Well, I got to say, Colorado started that whole 51st state movement before y'all did. So, and we failed. But I hear that Washington has a good chance of actually getting theirs done and moving in half of that state into Idaho.
Not Washington, Oregon.
Oregon. That's
Oregon
right.
wants to divorce from Portland and say, here, Portland, you can go back up to Washington.
Now, I think that's a really good idea because it also takes away all the farmland. And that's the reason they wouldn't let us in Colorado do it, is because the Eastern Colorado and Western Colorado wanted a divorce from the I-25 corridor, which is all of the, and to put it very bluntly, all of the very, very liberal areas. the entirely blue, no conservative, no middle ground at all.
Pretty much, if there's a highway
And
attached to it, urban sprawl is
yeah,
going to win out in time,
and
given enough time. That's what's going on with
they
Atlanta.
refused to actually hear our proposition completely, even though we got it on the ballot and we had enough votes. They refused to hear it and actually do anything about it because we have all the farmland. My county is actually the richest county in Colorado when it comes to per capita wealth. There are more millionaires in this county than anywhere in the state of Colorado, but they're all farmers. And they're all going broke right now because of all the federal regulations going on. So they're not really that many millionaires, but it's interesting, when you start talking about things like that, because I think there needs to be some state boundary changes just to make things fair, because it's not fair that you literally have one small section of a state that controls the entire state. That's
happened with California, and
yeah, literally. Colorado
is
is
eventually happen to every state, so long as we have this kind of city-state dynamic playing out.
Mm-hmm. You're right. By the way, which branch of the military were you in?
I was a Navy squid. I guess we'll call it squid. I was on SSBN.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for your service then.
Yep. That was a long time ago.
I value I value all of our military men and women, active duty or retired veterans. That's literally what 90% of my friend group is made up of.
Yeah, but it's why I keep trying to pester Val a little bit, but he's like, I don't know, I'm a boomer. I was trying to get him to do maybe a Lego game stream with me.
Tell him to knock his shit off and actually get her done, because
it's all good.
I have advocated for our military men and women since I was 18 years old. I wasn't allowed in because of my physical problems. I literally tried every branch of the military and found out at that point in time that the Coast Guard is literally the hardest one to get into.
Actually, yeah, because even though they don't deploy, they have some of the most active stuff that they have to do all the time. Like they have to be moving on those ships to catch the drug runners. They have to be able to jump in and out of helicopters. Like they do some really cool stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, you just watch like The Deadliest Catch,
Heavy D Sparks recently did a couple of videos with the
He's one of my favorite YouTubers. I actually got to meet the man back in 2016. I went to one of his ordeals when it was before that. Shit. We moved here in 2003.
I like his stuff, but he can be a bit
over the top.
Too promo-y. Like,
yeah.
It's kind of, sometimes it comes off as, look at me and all my money. Look at what my money bought me. But I get that he's humble too at the same time.
And he's a really, really good dude. I mean, he's generous to a fault.
Like, I'm not gonna say that to his face. That's kind of how it comes across to the lesser man sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I would actually compare him in very literal terms to Donald Trump right now.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, I did volunteer search and rescue for the Cajun Navy during Hurricane Harvey, Irene, and a couple others. And I was literally watching him live stream through some of our members' cameras, delivering food and water and supplies to people out of those semi trucks.
Cynthia, did you overfill your tank? And is that why you're telling us this?
Oh no!
Is this what happened? Are you trying to warn everybody else about your mess up? Crickets. Is there about a 45 second delay?
Yeah, about 30 seconds or so.
Okay.
And it should be instant because I got super low latency mode turned on. But
Right,
when you're
'cause
going through a
unless you're
restreaming
gaming,
system, yeah,
when
no,
you're
I'm
gaming,
smarter
you
than
you kinda wanna
that.
have the more latency. Good.
Good. I mean, you know, at least you're a lot smarter than an ex-employee's wife that I had. She filled up one of our. He asked her to take his work truck and go fill it up with fuel.
She put
And
diesel in the gasoline tank.
yeah, it's a Chevy
Which you can
1500.
run diesel in a gasoline. You can run about up to, say, 10%. Like 1 gallon in a 10-gallon tank isn't gonna kill it, but I wouldn't recommend doing it over and over.
That vehicle probably had 5 gallons of gas in it, and she filled it full of diesel. And she didn't tell anybody, and he was literally stuck 20 miles out in the country putting wireless internet up for a customer. And he calls me up. He goes, the truck won't start. It's making this weird smoke. I'm like, oh, Jesus, what happened? So he called his wife, and she goes, well, I thought it was a diesel. I thought all trucks were diesels. Well, $10,000 later.
Oof.
The Chevy Vortec engines are not cheap, just to let you know, even if they're crate engines. You know,
Yep.
labor costs a lot to change those things out.
The transmission in my Jeep went out, and luckily it matches up with like the Chrysler bodies. So from a crate transmission, it was like 2-3 grand, but the labor was additional 2-3 grand as well.
Yeah, God, that's one thing. I'm hoping that once I can get some of these physical issues, you know, and my heart fixed, that I'll actually be able to work on my own vehicles again, because
Mhm.
my wife's Jeep is falling apart. Literally, it's a Jeep. It's falling
Yeah, I mean,
apart.
that's what they're designed to do. They're designed to be beat up and fall apart.
Just the other
eventually.
day, she's driving down the road, and she goes, and she comes back home, and she goes, I think something's wrong with the muffler. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes outside and starts this thing up. It sounds like it's straight piped.
Oh, the cat. More than likely.
No.
No?
So the guy that we bought this thing from, and this is absolutely no joke, we found out later on she bought this thing for a couple $1,000. You know, we just needed a vehicle to get around in. It had a nice body on it, good tires, ran good. Well, we later found out that this was a drug running car. So they had literally taken every panel off of this thing.
Do you have a couple of extra secret panels with it?
We found all sorts of weird stuff. We never found any drugs, though.
I mean, of course they're gonna keep the drugs out of there when they sell it.
So it was one of the questions that I had actually asked the guy, and I didn't even think about it at the time. I said, so this thing will make it from, you know, say here to Kansas City? He goes, oh yeah, we drove it to Tijuana.
You didn't put 2 and 2 together, did you?
I should have put it 2 and 2. I was like, oh my God. So this thing started having issues like 2 weeks after we bought it. They had stripped this thing down to its bare frame for the most part, put it all back together with the wrong bolts, no less. I have replaced no less than 300 bolts on this thing with the proper ones. We started going through the body panels, and it was put together with drywall screws. They lost all the screws. So I start looking, and there's extra bits and stuff welded in there for pockets. And I'm like, this is a drug running car. And I confirmed that because the spare tire was cut open. I'm like, what is going on? This doesn't make any sense. So over the past couple of years, I have fixed a crap ton of things on this vehicle. Well, I bought an entirely new suspension for it.
Mhm.
And I decided that I fucking hate Jeep. I hate Jeep with a passion because those morons mixed magnesium and steel. And what happens when you have when people put
When you have just 2 different
metal-
types of metals, period, and
yeah,
there's a
they weld
difference,
themselves together.
they either weld themselves together, or you also have what's called ionization, and
Yep.
you create one of the metals going to strip the other metal.
Yep.
And if you don't have a sacrificial anode, a third metal to
Mhm.
let it take the ions away, you end up with rusted out Jeeps.
Yeah. So I bought an entire new front suspension. You know, shocks, struts, bushings, bearings, everything. I've been able to replace one side in 2 years.
Yeah, I just do.
It took me 17 hours to get
oil kind of thing rolled into the shop. I need to look at the differential on mine. It keeps making noise. I'll be at highway speeds, and then when I come off the highway and it drops down in gear, it starts making that. But then when I get it back in going again, I think it's the differential that's making that noise because it's sounding closer to the muffler.
Yeah. Oh, and then on getting back to the exhaust side of this, they put the exhaust back together. It's got a cat in it, which has really surprised me. I never even paid attention to that. But they used aluminum foil, and I'm not kidding you, the thick aluminum foil and hose clamps to clamp it together.
Use what you got if it breaks down, especially if they're going into Tijuana. They don't have hardware stores.
Yeah. I'm sitting here going, well, damn. They couldn't, have gone to Napa or, AutoZone and bought just a 6-inch piece of flex pipe. That would have worked really good. Especially since the guy I bought it from lives 3 doors down from an auto parts store here in town. That it was just actually the Napa auto parts store. But I've replaced so many parts on this stupid Jeep. And the thing that frustrates me the most about that damn Jeep is it's a 2005 Jeep Cherokee Laredo.
So that's okay. I was going to ask which model.
Yeah.
I've got a Compass. So it has the same base as the Chrysler, whatever one that Chrysler is. And then there's another, I think it's the same as the Patriot.
Yeah.
Those parts are interchangeable, kind of.
So the shifter on this thing, it's all electric shift.
Yeah.
And it uses solenoids to actually change in the transmission. So you downshift, and it's got drive. It's got the regular 3-speed on it, and then overdrive setting. But when you go down to the drive setting, it's got a selector going right and left. So
it has it's called auto stick, where it goes plus and minus. Stick. Yep.
It doesn't work.
Oh. So if it activates, then it gets screwed?
No, it doesn't activate at all. It goes into drive, but I can't. If I need, a lower gear, it doesn't work. And I'm like, what is going on? So I tore the entire thing apart.
Because you don't have a spindle. Is it just not recognizing your left and right? So first thing I would think, well, you probably already did this too when you tore it apart, is check to see if the sensor is picking up that left and right shift.
Yeah, I actually replaced the sensor. This gets actually kind of funny about this. So I'm tracing wires because I hate computerized cars. I'm old school.
Mm-hmm.
I can build a 1970s pickup out of memory.
I was a nuclear machinist, mate. And basically what we did was we did the mechanical side of things.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Mechanics. But
yeah.
And
I'm a computer.
Motion, and I can understand computer stuff, but I love mechanics.
Yeah. I've lived in the IT world my entire adult life, but I hate car computers because they don't make sense to me.
Oh, because they're the cheapest bidder.
Oh yeah. It's the cheapest bidder.
And also they refuse to integrate easily with the rest of the computer standards.
And it's just now that they're starting to use fiber optics to do things, and that's the best way to do it because it's the fastest and it's the most stable signals. You don't have to worry about rust. So I'm digging under the dash, right?
You do have to worry about line breakage, but yeah.
Yes, you do have to worry about line breakage. So, but I'm digging under the dash and I find the main harness connector. They cut it on one side completely, and then they taped all the wires back together with black tape. They didn't solder them. They're just twisted together and taped together with black tape.
You need to call Chad from Chad's Fabs. Drop another YouTuber in the comments. But seriously, though, that entire little off-road recovery people are awesome.
Oh, they are. I love those guys.
The other guy I watch a lot is Casey Liddell.
Casey Liddell. That's a
He's
good channel.
just north of where I'm at.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Up
See,
in
my
there,
wife used to live in Grand Junction, so I was really
Oregon.
close to where, Diesel Brothers were.
Gotcha.
It's like a 2-hour drive. And I've actually been to their facility, and I got to meet him then. So that was back when they actually had their TV show. So, which I don't even know. Are they still doing that? I watch them on YouTube. I never.
They stopped the TV show last year. And I think they said on the YouTube, hey, we're going to try and they were trying to really launch the YouTube channel because they knew they were transitioning to.
I just
not
wish he
having
was
to go.
doing more content with that new helicopter. Damn it.
Well, it's probably really expensive to fuel up and take out.
Yeah, but it's military, man.
Yeah.
That thing looks badass.
I will give him credit. I mean, hearing Bill Burr talk about flying helicopters, I get a sense of how crazy you have to be head on a swivel to fly one.
Oh, yeah. So I actually went and got my pilot's license in 99 and flew all the way up until 2000. And then 9/11 happened, and it was too expensive to fly anymore and also too dangerous.
Have you played the new Microsoft Flight Simulator?
No, but I want to so badly.
Is it still included with if you get the Xbox Pass?
I don't know.
It's probably a
the
game
Game
included
Pass-
on Xbox Pass.
Yeah. If I could afford it, I'd actually get the Game Pass because there's a lot of games I want to play. But
I kind of
just
consider
after I got my pilot's license, I was getting certified in different aircraft because of my buddy, Mike, I was flying his airplane. It was a Piper PA 260. We flew that thing, and it was it was like angel wings. That thing never let you down ever. But he wanted to buy a DC-6 or a DC-10, DC-9, something like that, to go do the Alaskan routes.
Yeah, it's included with Game Pass.
To fly all the fly materials up in Alaska. So we were getting certified and everything, and then my flight instructor one day, he goes, "You want to learn how to fly a helicopter?" I'm like, "Sure." So he took me up in this copter, and an hour later, I'm put back on the ground. I'm like, "Hell no." Too many things to think about at one time. Oh, Lordy.
So I know with Steam you can share. I'm looking at the Xbox to see if I can send you a copy or like a friend's pass for the Flight Simulator because it is included in Game Pass and as a PC option as well.
Well, we have plans to get the family Game Pass.
Gotcha.
So I wouldn't worry about it. It's just we've got to get some of our bills caught up, and
I know that feeling.
I don't work right now. I'm disabled. My wife is disabled, so it's just my 18-year-old and my 16-year-old. They just started, they just got jobs, and my kids are, God, I love my children. They're like, "Mom, Dad, we're going to help you out," and I'm like, "That's great," because we're waiting to get freaking approved from disability.
Mm-hmm. And that can take years sometimes.
Years. My wife has been waiting
it's a
3 freaking years.
I haven't even begun to do mine yet.
I just filed mine.
It's easier to get the VA disability than it is to get actual disability.
Yeah.
And that's still a nightmare too.
Yeah, it's always a nightmare because the government doesn't want to give out money even if you earned it. So, and the other option that I have is to go ahead and retire early because it's only a 10% deduction. My mom actually did that. Instead of retiring at 67, like Biden mandated, she went ahead and retired early, and she lost 10%. Big freaking deal because it's not a lot of money to begin with, but it still helps pay the bills. So And in the meantime, I'm still trying to do this, trying to make a few bucks on the side with my 3D printing business, which has been slower than shit lately, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I've been. It's another thing I want to actually look into. What 3D, since you're in this business, what 3D printer would be the best one to get as like a start entry level?
So I don't recommend anything from Ender. If you want to spend a boatload of money, you can get one of the higher end systems. Let's see. Let me go out here.
What's here? Let's break it down.
Actually,
Under 1,000, 100, and so that would be ultra low end. I guess that would be Ender only.
yeah.
And then so in the price range between 500 to 1,000, and then high end, I'm guessing would be 5,000 to 10,000.
So I started off with Ender 3s and Ender 3 Pros. At the height of my business during COVID, I actually had 28 of those machines. As things started slowing down, I started getting rid of them and replacing them. I have 3 Ender 3s left that I don't use any longer. They're actually up for sale on Facebook Marketplace. But what I actually have now is the FlashForge Adventurer 5s. They're $300. They are just as good as the Bamboo Labs X1s. The difference is they don't do the multicolor. And in the big scheme of things, you don't need multicolor. Because if you're going to do 3D printing, the what you want to look at is, yeah, you can have an Etsy store like I do, but you want to look at bulk orders. So you want to get signed up on like Fiverr or something of that sort, so people can send you. There's a couple other automated websites too that do this. They send you their schematic of what they want printed, and they say, I want 50. So it's bulk printing. That pays the big money right there.
Gotcha. That's what actually makes it worthwhile to fire up and put your time into it.
Yeah. And FlashForge actually has a nice program. I think it costs about $15,000. They send you I think it's like 20 printers of the M5 Pros, which are $400 a piece, and a boatload of initial startup stuff, filament and, tools and whatever. The cool thing about doing prototypes is you don't have to do cleanup on them. You wipe the supports off of them. You don't have to sand them down. You don't have to paint them or anything like that. You wipe your supports off. You clean up the edges just a little bit, throw them in a box, and ship them out. I've done that for a couple of years now, and I did it with Ender 3s, and it took forever.
Mm-hmm.
And with the FlashForge, it prints about 100 times faster. So something that would take me 3 hours to print, I can print in under 20 minutes.
So how much would a single FlashForge cost then?
You can get them on Amazon. They're the FlashForge M5, just the M5, which is the one I recommend because there's no difference between it and the M5 Pro, is $300.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds a reasonable price.
It's auto leveling, so you don't have to worry about the leveling bullshit. It's network printable, so you can print remotely. It comes with its own slicer, plus you can use it with Orca slicer or Prusa slicer or a bunch of other
Wi-Fi
slicers.
input, so I can just have
it. It's completely Wi-Fi or network.
Okay, so it has a Wi-Fi card built in on it. Awesome.
Yep.
So
you
I
can
can
hook
have
a camera up
I
to
can
it.
have it like free floating somewhere else in the house.
Yeah. And the beautiful part about it, let's see, I have this. Let me see. Let me start video and let me change cameras.
I know the most painful thing about the prints is that they take forever to actually print. It's not like when we talk about printing, we're not talking about printing off a piece of paper. We're talking about actually building a project.
If you look at my camera, this is the FlashForge M5 Pro right here. One that's in my office.
Gotcha.
It comes assembled. You don't have to do anything other than put the screen on it.
Okay, so it's pretty much pull it out of the box. It's good to go. You really don't have to maybe run a calibration
You hit
test
a button.
on it.
Yeah, you hit the calibration button. It takes about 10 minutes to do the initial calibration. And then after that, no big deal. You just send your files over and it just prints. It doesn't mess up. I've never had a failed print on this thing, and I probably put 1,000 pieces through it already.
Yeah, my
I've
mom
only had
uses a walker, and she's
before.
always replacing the feet on her walker. So I probably wanted something just to print off the feet for her walker, and just there's
Yeah,
little projects that I can have for the dogs and stuff too. And
you can use
if I can print off
TPU.
dog toys, that would be amazing.
So you have to be careful about the filament for dog toys. I've been through
Because it
and
has
I've done that.
to.
Yeah, the
I,
TPU that there are certain TPUs out there, which is the flexible filaments,
Mhm.
and certain PLA pluses that are flexible.
There's a
Uh,
type of filament that uses Orbeez.
yeah,
Yes, that Orby that actually
mhm,
holds up better as a dog toy
yeah,
because I guess it's self healing.
yeah. Some of those filaments are quite expensive. Just to let you know, I actually had a roll of a what they call food safe TPU, the flexible
Hmm.
filament, and a single roll of it cost me $100.
Gotcha. So
So
it's not something you want to dabble around with if you're
you know,
okay.
get your
Which is why
prototype
I haven't
and the
really
cheaper
invested
stuff.
into doing the 3D printing yet because it's like, yeah, it's more of an ideal thing. I don't really have a end goal with it just yet.
If I tell you what, if you want to actually dive into this world, I will be happy to
But
help
I'm
you off
sure
screen.
that the other thing that I'm trying to find is looking for a new group for um, tabletop RPGs stuff. So if I ever get into mini
Interesting.
making,
Um, my oldest son just got a resin printer,
hmm
and he's getting into that. My youngest son, my 16-year-old, is a designer. He is making a full tabletop setup.
gotcha.
I got him an art
And
pad, and
that
he's
includes
designing the whole thing.
D&D and your
Yeah.
Warhammer and all just nerd stuff.
Oh, I love the miniatures. I've got like a dozen of them just in this room alone that we've printed out on the on the normal printers that I've got, but miniature stuff is so much better if you do it through resin printing. It has
You
so much
print it,
better
and then
detail.
do you get better detail when you go to paint it?
Oh yeah, because it's got a smoother texture. There's less sanding involved. Um, some of them,
Better
yeah,
workflow.
some of the stuff. I've got a friend of mine who actually sells it. He builds his own kits, his own tabletop kits, and his own hex games and everything. And he does the whole storyline and everything. It's actually quite amazing. His stuff is so detailed. He will sell it painted or unpainted. If it's painted, like 10 figures is going to be worth like $700. It is, 10 figures plus, a desktop kit for it is like $700 because it is that intricate. Of course, he's a
Yeah.
really good painter too. He sells the same kit unpainted for $100. So, I mean, and he sells the crap out of them. He quit his full-time job just to make this stuff. Now he's got like a staff of 3 that do all the art design for him, create all of the monsters and creatures and sets. All he does is sit there and prints them, and him and his wife paint them.
It is wild how we can make a business out of all of our passions all the time.
It is. And, so when I first started 3D printing, I got my first Ender 3. And I was actually watching that show DDE back when Damon had his first LP640 Murcielago. And he had it at a shop, and they didn't have the tool to take off the fuel injection line. All these damn cars have these new plastic tools that you push in and take off the fuel injection line.
Right, to be
Well,
able
the
to
guy,
disengage a crimp line or something.
yeah. So Damon goes, well, how much is the tool going to cost? And the guy goes, it's $1,100 from Lamborghini. So I'm sitting here. Just the moment I did that, I turned around, and, in my office that I had at, where it's actually my other son's room now. And I looked at my printer. I'm like, I wonder if I can get the specs for that thing. So I printed off a couple of them and I sent them to different Lamborghini dealers. So I started selling those things for $100 a pop. They were disposable.
Right.
You know, you could use them once or twice and throw them away. And it was a whole lot better than spending $1,100 on something you could only use four times.
Once or yeah.
And that's how I started in 3D printing. And it was amazing because, you know, I was making, you know, some pretty decent dough on there. And then that market completely died off because I think Lamborghini got pissed and lowered their prices.
Yeah, they realized they're scalping a little too hard.
Well, I mean, it's a 4-inch piece of plastic with a handle. Honestly, it does not need to cost that much. But and then I started with you know, PC parts like GPU risers, you know, little risers to hold up the end of GPUs and computers.
Yeah, I've built about 4 or 5 computers, but that was back in the early 2006, 2009 era.
Yeah.
And things have changed, but they've remained the same. You still have GPUs, CPUs. They've just gotten faster. And now it's the aesthetics have changed. People want clean lines and hidden everything.
These little guys right here, used to sell the crap out of these.
Yeah.
$7 on Etsy, and now nobody buys them.
Because they're included now.
A lot of them, yeah. A lot of them are included.
Basically, things that get trending, the manufacturers adjust for them now.
These were popular. Little fidgets, orbital fidgets. Now I got a dozen or so laying around. Those don't sell any longer. So now I'm trying to find a new niche inside the 3D printing industry. That way I can actually make some money.
Gotcha.
You know, people are still printing off those dragons and stuff, but they're printing them off at a loss. I used to be able to do the articulated dragons and animals and stuff like that and sell them for $20.
What do you think about printing off foot covers for dogs?
If I had TPU filament, that would be actually a pretty profitable thing.
Because
TPU is actually pretty.
I personally need a set for Shadow. Granted, it's going to be a pain to get him to actually wear them, but I'm always concerned when I'm walking to and from the store that he's going to burn his toe beans off going back and forth. I move as quick as I can, but I can only walk so fast.
I tell you what, if you can measure your pup's paws and let me know what size and how tall you want them, I'll design them.
Okay. Sounds good.
And then, you know, I'll send you a pair and you can try them out. And if they work out for you, then go from there.
Sounds good.
So that's one of the things I've always offered is, you know, if it's an easy design, I'll design it and I'll send it out and I won't charge you anything for it other than the shipping. Because if you don't like it, there's no use in you paying for it. That's probably why my computer business didn't survive COVID, but I actually ended up losing a lot of money because, you know, if somebody wasn't happy with their phone being repaired, I wouldn't charge them.
You hear what Linus says about it. The margins are so slim on it to begin with. What is little mom and pop me even going to make off of already reduced margins? It's like 2-3%
I didn't build
profit.
I stopped building computers a long time ago. I mean, there was a couple when I had my downtown business, but I would build servers and I would build custom gaming rigs, but they wouldn't be
server market
gaming rigs.
That's gotten really interesting. If you want to serve the home stuff.
Yep. I used to build home server systems. So one of my customers here in town who lives on the outskirts of town, I built him a Plex server that has 70 terabytes of storage space. He digitized every movie they owned. Home movies.
Trying to fight really hard to keep from going back to hard drives. I want to never have to use digital platters again.
That system was built with 10 terabyte Seagate Enterprise drives. because they were cheap at the time. I think they were like,
Which,
I mean, they're
again,
really cheap now, but
if
they were
you're
like
going
300
for
bucks.
data backup, hard drives are fine.
Yeah.
But if you're running off of it, it's great to have the NVMe now.
Yeah. Well, that system was built with the Intel Optane as well. So it has 2 Optane drives in it for immediate caching. So he never has buffering when he streams through Plex.
Gotcha. So it basically loads the file up, and then
yeah, it'll quick load the file and then stream it straight out of the Intel Optanes. And that was the sad part. Intel did away with the Optane system.
Which at the same time they did away with it, AMD comes out with their 3DX.
Yep.
Which is a similar
It's the same technology.
Similar technology. It's like you're just putting the memory physically closer to the CPU to work better.
Yep. Absolutely. And then the new Threadripper chips have so much memory on them, it's not even needed any longer.
Yeah. And I've noticed a trend in the serve the home stuff. They started reviewing the newer mini PCs. Have you seen those? That's actually what I'm running right now. I'm using a Mini Forums HG99 with 64 gigs of memory and a terabyte, and it hasn't given me too many problems.
I've got a couple older ones, but I don't have any newer stuff because, of course, I don't have any money. I would love that. There's one, I can't remember the name of it. Linus actually had it on a show a couple months back. I would love to get my hands on one for a very specific purpose.
If I were to give a review back and feedback on it, is I run out of ports because I've got a Stream Deck connected to it. Well, knockoff Stream Deck, but Stream Deck. I've got controllers plugged into it. I've got 2 screens plugged into it. And then my keyboard and mouse are plugged in, and I still even have an additional 4 ports, and I'm still out of that. So it's like, and then like the USB ports that are on back, 2 of them are actually DisplayPort.
Yep.
Because they're actually tied into the external hard. The nice thing on this bigger model, it has discrete graphics card on it. It doesn't have just the integrated.
Nice. You have a lightning port on it?
Yeah, it's got the USB 4.
Okay, so you can actually utilize an external GPU as well.
My plan is to there's a Sabrent sells one where it's a where you can dock a external GPU and also dock hard drives and a couple NVMe drives. Because I can only expand it an additional 1 NVMe drive inside of the system.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to get kind of the same speed once I do that. But yeah, that's kind of the plan that I have for future upgrades. It wasn't too bad on the price either. It was like $800.
That's not bad.
I wanted the next model up actually, but they're sold out because they're popular right now.
Kind of like all the
this one has the 6600G from the AMD.
Yeah, 6600. Okay, so it's not the XG; it's just the G.
Yeah, it's not the. It's so there's the 99 minis for them, and then there's the 100G, and the 100 has the 77.
Huh.
So it has the next generation.
AMD is ever since AMD bought 3DFX and all those other companies, they manufactured some interesting things. Starting with the Radeon line, they were with the integrated graphics on Radeon. They were ahead of the game so much because it would outperform a 1050 or a 1070 just with onboard graphics. Wouldn't outperform a 1080 though.
I mean. So before that, though, I had an Asus laptop. That the problem was it would run hot because it had a 1060 in it. It was meant for gaming, but they just did not design the cooling system well at all.
Never do. Let me guess, it was an Asus.
It was an Asus ROG, the first generation of it too.
I actually have a ROG gaming laptop sitting over here. It's got a
Mhm.
960 in it, and that thing runs like a beast. It's awesome, but it runs
It
hotter than
it was
hell.
able to run Final Fantasy 15, which can run at 4K. It was able to pump that out to a 4K monitor on a 65-inch TV and be better than the Xbox S I had.
Yep.
But I had to have like those blower fans. I had to like delid the laptop and have that blow straight onto the motherboard to
Uh-huh.
be able to do that because it would overheat otherwise. I'd run the I had that plus also the screen on it broke. Someone dropped it at some point.
I had a buddy of mine for the one that I've got. I used to delit it because it would overheat so extremely bad. So I pulled the back of it off and I delitted the damn thing. And I had a buddy of mine who had a CNC. He actually designed me a solid brass water block. So I water cooled the damn thing with an AIO.
That's actually this is actually a use case for the 3D printing again. It's probably just to take it apart and create a mount and just have, because I've seen where they have the open case wall mounts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that creates a solution to have another system. But the problem with that system is it still uses an old HD. It has its limits, but I find I don't have a need to have so many multiple systems. And then also the other nice thing is this thing only draws in the system I'm using now, 65 watts.
That is nice. I mean, my system is an i9 9900K, so it's a little bit older model.
But then
3090 in it, and this thing will draw 270, 300 watts at idle.
If I want to add another GPU or an external GPU, I have to get a power supply, or you get the enclosure, which so it's like I'm looking at almost $500-600 just for the enclosure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm trying to figure out, what's the optimal route, because what I think I want to do is just get the Intel. I actually want to see what the Battle Mage cards are when they come out.
Oh, that does actually look interesting. So yeah,
because if they're around the same price point, it might be worth waiting on that.
That's going to be. I mean, there's so many new things that are coming out, and that's the problem with the GPU market, in my own opinion, right now. Is
it doesn't make sense anymore.
It's going so fast. They're not giving any time for end of life, I would say.
And I know I can't compare prices to things that used to be, but like one of my first systems I built was for $1,000. I had a dual GPU SLI system with the quad core and I think 64 gigs of RAM. But it's just like, granted, the RAM has gotten a lot faster than it used to be. The price of video cards, the $100 video card has gone away. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. The problem we've got with current systems, though, and the speeds of everything, and Linus actually did a thing about this a couple of years back, is we have surpassed, the systems are going so fast, they're actually having to inject latency into software to make the software slower because it runs too fast. And it's like on a normal basis, this machine has 16 cores. I've never seen it use more than 8 cores ever. And that was under, video rendering load.
Because I'm on Windows 11, it doesn't pull up the same thing that Windows 10 would have.
HW monitor.
Right, the hardware monitoring.
Yeah. Hardware. I download I use hardware monitor, so because it actually integrates with I use Touch Portal instead of a Stream Deck because I'm cheap.
Yeah, like I said, I bought it was like $100 or less to get the Ajaz. Now, something I have been impressed with, for a stream capture device is the it was a Kickstarter I found out later on, but the Genki,
Yeah, I've heard of them.
They can take 4K input and put out 4K output pass through.
Mhm.
And for really cheap compared to like the $400 or $500 card, this was a $130 card for the capture device.
Yeah.
Granted, it's like I got it, and then I decided to switch back to doing
Oh, did I
old
lose it?
school RPG games.
Oh, there you are. Yeah.
No, I had a brain freeze.
Oh, and there you go. I have those all the time, so don't worry about that. Yeah, this I use Touch Portal because it can do so many different things. It's, I can control my Discord with it. This is one of my favorite things. I can control Fusion 360 when I'm developing stuff.
So the Touch Portal, that's just an app that runs locally on your PC.
And then they have an app on your phone or your tablet or whatever.
Or tablet. Gotcha.
Yeah. I have it on a phone, and this is what the hell is this? An old Pixel phone, and then I have it on my 12-inch tablet as well.
I think the thing I struggle with is just that there ends up being so many shortcuts and so many different ways. There's so many different ways to do the same thing. It becomes overwhelming, or I forget how to But the more you do it, the better you get at it.
And this is this. Where's my mouse go? There we go. There. This is the basic screen that I use for my live right here.
Was that free software to get, or do you have to purchase it?
It's a free software. You can have it up to like 8 or 9 buttons, something like that. It's like really cheap. It's like $20.
Okay.
I have the paid version of it. It's not expensive. It's on, you get the app first off of the Google Play Store.
Do they have an iOS version?
I don't know.
Okay. I think I have that actually. Because I know I downloaded a bunch of recommended ones.
Yeah. I use Voice Meter Banana, not banana, but potato.
Yeah, Touch Portal. I have it.
Yeah,
okay.
Touch Portal in.
Yeah, I need to just download that then.
OHM extensions. There's all sorts.
There's OBS Blade, I think, is another option.
Controls VLCs, controls Spotify, Discord. And using this, it actually makes sense for me because I'm a programming aholic. So I like writing scripts. That's what I did for my entire adult life. And I like being able to write things and test them out. So some of the stuff that's in here is my own custom design. Like here's the big one when I use OBS. I can do soundboards, the whole jazz on it.
Right, because you don't want to be having to flip through screens too much.
And I mean, you can go through the page settings here, and if you got a big enough tablet. The tablet I use costs $50. I use one of those cheap 12-inch tablets off Amazon. So you can actually get huge amounts of rows on this thing.
Let me not swap you over, and then I'll have you go to this window. Go to that window. Come on, you could do it. Over there. There you go. Full screen. Hit share. I understand. Let's proceed. Select a window on screen. There we go. So I have this program. And I have a hardware device designed with it.
Yeah, the Ajaz. Yeah, I've used that before.
It's not been bad. It's just I have to remember it doesn't integrate to YouTube at all. Like it does, but then YouTube says we don't want to authorize this. We don't trust it. Which is,
well, they locked their API down, and
they messed up their authorization.
They locked their API down for API access, and so far there's only been a few companies like Elgato that have actually gone through taking the time to rewrite their software to actually work with it.
Gotcha.
Because I used to be able to with Touch Portal, I used to have buttons, that just showed current time streaming, how many chatters there were, how many viewers there were. None of that works anymore. And I haven't done anything with it because I'm just lazy and I don't want to actually go through their API.
I don't want to stop video. I want to. How do I tell it to stop sharing? Okay, there it is. I found it.
Yeah.
I can not boomer stuff.
Not old enough to boomer stuff.
No, unfortunately, I spent all my time teaching boomers how to not boomer it. That's my parents. They're like, how do you prevent security? Oh, have your son set up all the passwords.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, the sad part is growing up in the computer industry. You know, I went to college in 1995. Yeah, 95 was my first bout of college, and we were teaching the elder generation on how to use things then. And then once I actually got into the actual workforce, we were telling people, go get your teenager.
Well,
Let me talk to them on the phone. Yeah, and they have them do it. And now the younger generations don't know how to use a computer, but they use them every single day.
Have you seen the short that Thor put out where he was talking about they had a booth. They brought a Xbox controller and a tablet to be able to. They don't know how to use either.
No.
It boggles my mind.
I'm saying you don't how to you know how to play your game, but you don't actually know how to use your machine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, and the worst part is the streamers are the absolute worst about this. There's a reason why every big time streamer has a tech guy that has remote access into all of their crap, because they don't know how to do anything.
Well,
they barely know how to turn the computer on.
At the same time, it is overwhelming to get into some of the streaming software options. But also, why do you think they all buy the biggest brand stuff? Like, you see them with the biggest kit, and it's like, you can get away with way less.
Oh, I mean, most definitely. I mean, I'm using the same microphone I used 10 years ago streaming. It was broken. I fixed it. MacGyver, more like it, but it works.
Just because I was super aware of having a lot of fan noise and dogs barking, I went with a little bit nicer microphone. But I did my research and it was like, oh, don't get a condenser because that compresses all the noise. Get a different style.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the mic's been great. People are like, nope, I don't hear anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Going on, you can't hear it.
Mic. So, I mean, I've got noise suppression turned on, and even with it off, you're going to hear my air conditioner because it's 4 feet from me. This room is 200 square feet, so I don't have a lot of room to move the air conditioner out of the way.
It's 105 here all the time, so I understand needing to run AC.
Well, it today, right now, it's only 74 degrees, and it's 9:30 in the morning, so it's going to be a beautiful day today, unless it actually hits over 100. This last week, I haven't been able to go outside. I just got our yard mowed yesterday when I woke the entire neighborhood up because I violated city ordinances and mowed it at 6 a.m.
I have to, I don't care. We have these walnut trees that grow. And have you ever dealt with walnut trees before?
Yep.
They're a pain in the butt.
Oh, they are.
We have stumps, and even with the stumps, they send up fresh shoots out of them every month that you've got to be pulling and trimming them back. But they've grown over the fence and are sitting on the property behind me's house. But we have some slumlords basically renting the properties back there, and they haven't bothered to fix it. So I've got to go take a chainsaw to the limbs.
Oh,
but I you said 6 in the morning. I was like, yeah, I was running a chainsaw at 6 in the morning. Nobody cares out here.
Yeah. Oh, they do around here. You'll get a ticket for it if you get caught. They value their quiet at 6 a.m. here. Ordinance says you can't do anything until 7 a.m. I think it is. Not even construction.
we may have ordinances and stuff like that because I mean I'm 45 minutes away from Sacramento, but I'm still in the middle of nowhere because it's farmland all the way around Sacramento anyways.
Uh-huh.
But where was I going with this stupid story? Running a chainsaw 6 in the morning. Nobody cares. For us, it's like if the dogs are quiet, something's wrong. we have an alert system. There's 2 German Shepherds at the property across from us. Then there's a couple pack over there. So it's literally when the mailbox person comes by, you can hear them start going off in a chain.
Yeah, what's funny when you're talking about dogs going off is in our living room we have blackout curtains, so you can't see out the windows because the sun faces our house. The south side has all the windows.
Part of dealing with the car wrecks is I've got constant migraines, so I have to deal with blacking out everything. Otherwise,
yeah, same. I get migraines all the time, and just to control migraines and control the heat inside the house, we use blackout curtains in the living room.
It helps.
And they're closed all the time. The dogs can't see anything.
They can smell it.
And a child walking across the street, not talking, will awaken all of my dogs and they will go absolutely apeshit.
But then they can't hear you 2 feet away from them.
Nope.
Saying their name.
But my dog literally ignore me.
Well awake.
My dog is trained and she will flat out ignore me. And I'm like, Duchess, get over here. And her ear will twitch, but she won't move her head because she's stubborn, because she's lab and pit bull.
Mm-hmm.
Now the shepherd, she's actually pretty mindful. She's very inquisitive, so she'll listen. And so will the big male mutt that we have. My wife's dog, she's dumb as a box of rocks. So she does what she wants.
That's my mom's dogs. They're Chihuahua mixes, and I try to train them a little bit, but she's already got them messed up.
Misty, you found Airhead can't. Oh my gosh.
3 pound.
But we are coming up on 3 hours, dude. It's been
fun talking with you. I'll hit you up again sometime.
Yeah, we'll have to, maybe we can do a stream together or something. I'm down for it.
Sounds good. We'll figure out a game we can play together, man.
Sounds cool. Have a great day. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream, everybody. I am done until later this afternoon. Hopefully when I get back, I'll play some video games. So that was Wicked Wookie. Make sure you go give him a follow, give him a like over on all of the social medias. If I need to repost those, let me know. He's on Twitch. And let me go ahead and repost that link for Twitch. Copy link address. We'll get over here. Copy link address. We're going to go ahead and paste that once again. Give him some love. He's got 11 subscribers. We need to get him to affiliate status like now. And we'll see how fast we can make that one happen. So that said, I'm out of here. You guys have a pleasant rest of your day. If I go live later, there'll be a notification about an hour ahead of time. So look out for that. Check the Discord for it in case you don't get YouTube or Twitch notifications. Peace out, everybody.